So today I'm going to cover about how to write a Ansible script, Ansible playbook. So till last class we saw like how to configure your Ansible and what is the default configuration file and what is the default inventory and how to use your Ansible command. So in this current session, like I'm going to teach you how to write a small script to install web server and we'll host a website in one of the server. So in the last class, someone asked me about how to write a script on your notepad and then copy it to your Ansible machine and then execute it. Okay. So this is my machine and this is my working directories. Data classroom is my directory. So this is my inventory file. So I have only one machine here, but to show you for this session, I have created one more machine and it's called host3. So I'm going to update the inventory. You can also group them as web servers, or you can view the details. Suppose if you have a web server, if you have a DB server, you can name one host as a DB server and one host as a web server. So Ansible playbook can be written in a single YAML file. So and in YAML file, so the YAML playbook starts with 3 dashes here, 3 hyphens in the starting. So this denotes that it is a YAML file. So how you write a C language with include. So in the same way, the YAML starts with 3 hyphens, 3 dashes. Okay, and then let's save this file as a YAML file. I'm going to save it in my classroom folder. So this is our lesson 1. Select as a YAML. So when you save this file with with YAML extension, then you can see all the syntaxes here. So hyphen. So any task or anything you write on it, it should start with a hyphen name. Just I'm naming this task. I'm naming this particular dictionary, saying that this playbook to install and configure a web server. So what we are doing right now, so let's outline the script. First we are going to install web server and copy the content, copy the index.html into web folder and restart the web server. Enable and restart the web server. So this is our task. So with this you can up to a website. So the website will look like I can show you the home page. The same home page will be displayed in your class Ansible. So this is my web page. So the same page will be displayed. So I'm going to configure it in my website. And this is my Ansible machine. And the second one is these are my two new host machines, like target machines. Let me open the other session. I'm making sure if it is already installed, then it will get removed. Okay. So I'm writing a Ansible playbook here. So this is called the dictionary here, and so first, whenever you write the playbook, so these are the mandatory fields. Like, so after 3 dashes, you have to give the you have to name this a particular section, saying that it's, you can give as per your requirement. Like I say, I'm just writing it to configure your website, so it will display as saying that playbook to install and configure web server. And host is nothing but so you have now host 1 and host 2 machines. So see here, host 2 and host 3 machines as your target machines. So which one you want to include to run this playbook on those servers? So you can give host 2 or host 3. If you want all the machines, then you can use all command. Okay. So which user you want to run as? So user, that is this root. So this is the default section to be used here, and the other one is you have to add task. Task is the section you are telling the so this is my one of the same script which I wrote here. So here it says that to this section will tell you this what about this playbook, and what are the hosts it has got, and what is the user it has got, and what is the connection types. So you don't need to mention this connection, but you can, if you want, you can mention that connection is SH. So when you see this host colon all, user colon all, these are called dictionaries. So these are called as dictionaries. Like let's write. Now I'm writing a task. So in YAML, so whenever you write a task, so you should make sure that after the task, you have to start your script from the command from the second give 2 spaces, and then give 1 dash, and then use name, and say that install web server. Okay, and after that, use to in the last class we discussed about how to install a package, Ansible -doc yum. This module will install the packages on your machine in the Red Hat Linux. So what are there here? One is name and the other one is state. So here give the module name colon. This defines the module name, and again here what is the package name? That is HTTPD. And what is the state you want? So state can be present or installed, so or latest. If you see here, state, if you see the state here, so it can be present, installed, or latest. These three will get the package. It will make sure that the package is available on the destination machine. Okay, and state is equal to, I say, present. That means this particular block will make sure that on the host and the target host machines, this package is available on the target machines. Suppose let's run this package. Let's run playbook. I saved it. So I'm using a script here. I'll show you the script. So this is my script. So pscp-r and password is Red Hat. Copy from OneDrive training from the classroom folder to my remote machine to the data classroom. So it copies all the files from the classroom, training classroom, to my Linux Ansible machine. Okay, I'm going to the command, or you can just go to the command, or you can drag and drop into you can drag and drop this lesson 1 into this file, but I don't want to do that. I prefer command mode. I go to E drive, CD OneDrive. I'm sorry, OneDrive. From there, trainings. From there, classroom, training. So that if you see this batch file, so I use that command, pscp command, in this because I don't want to type that command every time. So I made it as a batch file. Okay, so it copies all the files here, and if you see here, if you can find the lesson1.yaml file here. So to run this file, Ansible -playbook is the command. So till yesterday we saw we use the commands using Ansible, but now you are running a playbook within a file, which is written in a file. So you have to use this one. So again, by default we were using our inventory file here. So now I'm making a customized file here. So in the previous section we saw that global inventory file for the Ansible is etc host. So to override this one, so I made a customed inventory file in this current folder. So if you see the folder, and this is my inventory file. Okay, now see what are there in the inventory file. You see host 1 and host 2 and host 3. These are my target machines. Okay, how to use them? Now Ansible playbook -i is the inventory file. So you can, if you don't give -i, it will by default it will then take the content from the etc Ansible host file. So I'm giving a custom file, inventory. Then what is the file name? lesson1.yaml. So it says that there is an issue here. What is the syntax error here? Two spaces. So empty spaces will, most of the time you will get issues only with the empty spaces in this program, in YAML notation. Okay, I saved the file. I'm copying the file to the Linux machine. So from the next time onwards, I will only use the Linux. To show you how to write the script on the notepad, I showed you this one, but for me this is very comfortable. So whenever you use a Linux machine, so if you give vi command and see lesson1.yaml, so you see all them in the same plain white, black and white, but you don't see any syntax errors uh, showed using any coloring with some red and blue, saying errors are showed in there, red and blue. But if you use the Vim, Vim is the advanced version of uh, advanced editor for VI. Now you see here, so it will display the all the errors. It will display the all the syntax errors here. So it looks everything same, but if you see here, uh, there are two spaces here. So only one space is permitted here, so it can't take two spaces. Give me a minute. Now you see here, this playbook is running on two hosts. I said in the script, I said all. Okay, in this I said all. So what are the all files on this machine, on this inventory? So I showed you in the inventory, right? So in the inventory file, so whatever the machine names you provide in the inventory file, so this whole script will run on those two machines. So these are the two machines which are there in the same network. So I'm like host 2 and host 3 are two servers. I'm planning to install our web server on these two machines. So now if you see here, uh, these are the four, you can see the four options here. So whenever there are any errors, then it will say, whenever there is a failure in it, it will say that one of them are failed due to whether the Yum repository is not reachable or some other things, like it will say it's failed, and here it will say okay one. And if you run the same script again, so you saw it here, right? So in the first attempt, it said change is equal to 1, and on host 1, host 2, host 3 also change is equal to 1. So that means in the first attempt, the web server got installed on these two machines. So if I try to run the same script again, so it said no change, because that package got already installed, so it doesn't do anything. So this is safe to Ansible is very safe to run on any machines, because it checks with the current status, and if that status is already available, it will not do any changes. Only it will do the changes. Suppose if you are expecting some status on the machine, and if that status doesn't exist, then it will make that status enable. But if that status is already exist, it doesn't change anything. Did you get it? Any questions so far? So I repeat once again. So any YAML script that will start with the three dashes here, and your script starts with the hyphen name colon, and you give some text whatever you require here, and you define the target machines here. The host dictionary will give you the target machines. So here I said instead of single machine, I said all machines. So whatever the machines which are available in the inventory, so it will execute all these tasks on the remote machine. So what is the username it uses? It uses root, and it runs this playbook using root privileges. And so here is the task, and again so here I'm saying that install web server, because I just want to, when you're running a script, so it will show you this task name as install web server. If you go back, whenever you see here task name hyphen name which I gave you here, right? So that will display when you are running the playbook. Go here, and then now you started, you install the web server. Now you are going to start the, so you have to make sure that this dash and this dash are on the same line. So if you give one space, or that will not take, and it will show you error message. And then here what I will do, so our first task is install web server. So install web server is done, and so in the second one we will enable and restart the start the web server. So whenever yep.
Just small doubt, Shankar, this is Krishna.
Mhm.
I mean, like, if you are doing only
Yeah,
on
Krishna.
particular host like host 2 or host 3, instead of all, we have, if you just mention the name of the server, it's enough, or like we have to give the IP address?
It's not required. So in the if you go to the inventory file,
Okay.
in this inventory, you can give the IP address also, like 192.168.183.162. So you can give this one, or you can group them also. Like in this you can say web server. Okay. Now I made this as a web server, and this is as DB server. Okay. Now in the script what I will do is, instead of host all, I will use web server. Okay. This will run. So I'm defining here as a group. So when I say host is equal to host colon web server, this dictionary will take the web server group from the inventory. So it will go to the web server group, and so whatever the machines available on the web server, it will take those two machines. Let me check one second. Okay. Now I said web server, right? So whenever I give the web server, so it goes to the web server and it executes on these two machines. Now I install this web server. Now I'm going to enable the service. So after colon, give only single space. So that is very careful. That is mandatory. You should not give double space, then it will fail. Single space, and then enable and start the service. Okay. And what is the module you have to use here? That is service. So whenever you are dealing with any service of any Linux, then you have to give the service module. So if you want to know more about, if you don't know the syntax, because you are dealing with let's take this service as a new module, and you don't know how to frame this task. So you can go to Ansible doc. In Ansible doc, just give this module name service. So it will give you all the details about service. So if you see these arguments, So name is the service name. So which server service you want to run on, and then what is the state of that service and enabled. So if you want to make that service enable whenever you get rebooted, enable permanently, then you have to use enabled. Okay, so go to the service. So here name is equal to HTTPD is the service name. So web servers. So you should be very familiar, because if you know the OS only, you can start working on it, because I know that web servers package name is HTTPD and its service name is HTTPD. So that's the reason I was able to use those service names and servers names. And you should be very familiar with OS. Then only you can use those servers or services configurations files, and you can do the automation here. And what is the state you want to make it as? Start. And do you want to enable the service? Is equal to yes. So let's see. If you see here, system CTL status HTTPD, it says it is stopped. Okay, let's run this command, this playbook again. Okay, I'm using the same command, answer the playbook. I'm running this file again, playbook again. Now it's running on the web server. So what are the web server contains? These two servers. What it said, maybe any syntax error. So it said value of the state must be one of the started, stopped, or restarted, or reloaded. So I think I made a spelling mistake here. So I said here as a start. So you saw the error message, right? It should be started. I corrected the error message, and then I'm running the script again. Okay. Now you are running almost two tasks here. One is to install web server, other one is enable web services. But here you see only first one is the normal one to set up your Ansible playbook. But if you see here, you have got totally three tasks here, but only one changed, because this was already installed. So that's the reason it was not reported here. But if you run the same playbook again, you see change is equal to 0, because these two tasks already ran on the remote machines, and the service was enabled on those machines. Let's go to one of the machines, host 3. Now the previous status was it was in the disabled, and it is in the stopped mode, right? Let's check the same status again. Now you see here it's running. Earlier it was saying stopped. Now it is running, and now it is enabled. Earlier it was disabled, because I gave, because I in the task I said name is equal to web HTTPD, and so I want that state to be started mode, and enabled is equal to yes. So that's the reason. So the service was up. Now if you want to see the file there, okay, access that file there, you can use elinks is command mode browser, like web browser, and I said HTTP host 3. I'm sorry, this file was already existed. So I did not remove the text file there, so that's the reason. Now see, this is your default. So whenever you configure your web server, so this will look like with Apache test page. Okay, and now let's write an index page now. Okay, we'll create one index page. Okay. So I'm making an index page here. So to create an index page, I'm going to create HTML online. I'm just creating a text web page from using this online tool. Okay. So Vigna is your training institute, and I say that as a center, and format it as a heading 1, and then I'll make it as a heading 2. Okay. So I copy this source file and then insert here. So this is, so whenever I run this HTML page, and it should show me as this content. Okay. So till now so the default page we saw. What is the default page of the host 3? Now we'll copy our new index page to the into the remote machines. Okay. Again, name, copy the website content to the remote machine. Okay. So here you use the copy module. So to know more about copy module, use Ansible doc. Okay, and use the copy module here. So this will give you details about this module. So we need here source and destination. Okay, and if you want to get the sample of this one, go to the end of the file and you can see the syntax here. Now I am going to now source. Okay, so what is my source? So source is source equals to this one file, and destination equals to, so when you install a web server, the content should be in the var www.html file. So I want to make this as index.html file. Okay. So what I'm doing now, we just created a web page, right? This is our web page. So I have taken a single file, and this file will be copied to the, after this will install web server, this will enable the services, and this will copy the content. Okay. Now run the Ansible again. Okay. Now you see here it's already copied. There is change one. So you mean to say these three already, the status was already configured there, so it did not change, but only the changes, the new file is copied into this machine. Let's see so where did I copy? In the destination machine, var www.html, right? So copy this folder and see in the destination machine. You see here index.html, so it is copied. When it is copied, 738. Now it is 739. Okay, and I'm just checking the timestamp, making sure that I'm sorry. See here index.html file. Let's go and use the e-links, and the website is running on host 3, right? Use http://host 3. Now see here the website, because this is command mode browser, so it will not display other things. So you see here Vigna, and this is Ansible training session. So this is the way to automate your web server. And so if you are in the maintenance time, and if we are making some changes on your web server, so then we use now after copying this file. So I want to make sure that, suppose if you are making any changes on your web server, so you should inform, you should make sure that that web server is running or not. So this whole task will show you how to install a web server and install a configure your web server and display the web server on the remote machines. Now let's write one more playbook, that is lesson. Let's copy the same file, lesson2.yaml. Okay, and okay, and let's remove all these. Now I want to install few packages. How to, suppose now you saw only one package, right? So how to install multiple packages? So install packages, install required packages. You miss the command and you say single space name is equals to let's see PHP, and state is equals to present. So let's see, do we have PHP here or not? rpm-qa is the command to grep all the files. From this I am checking the PHP. So there is no PHP installed on this. Okay, and let me check Perl. Perl is also not installed on this machine. So now I want to install Perl and PHP. So if you want to, so with this command you can only install PHP. Let's run this file again. This will install the PHP on the machine, and okay, now it got installed. So let's run again this file, playbook. So there is no change. I am just making sure that it to show you how the change. So now run this command again, PHP. Now you saw these 3 files got installed, but it did not install the Perl because I did not mention the Perl. Now I want to install multiple files. So to install multiple files, now you have to use list. So go here, Ansible loops, to give multiple files to the task. You should use these are the loops. So with underscore items. So this is the loop. You can use it to install multiple packages. Now let's use this with underscore items and use them in installing multiple packages. Okay, so with underscore items colon, okay, and then list the files. So what are the packages you require? PHP, and let's take MySQL, and I'm giving multiple packages name. So here Perl. Now go to the name instead of single file name. So you should make sure that remove this PHP and use the variables now. So to give the variables, so you should use this brackets, and in this you have to use the item. So this is the way to use the loops. So to install only single package, we just give the name equals to PHP. But if you want to install multiple packages, you have to use the one of there are a lot of loops, but one of them is with underscore item, which helps you to install the given items. It will take one by one from the each within items, and it will get installed. So first it will come to the task, and it will run the first item, that is PHP, and after that again it comes to the second item, and it runs the MySQL, and then it comes on the third one, Perl. Okay, let's run this one. Okay, now see what do you have. I don't have Perl, I don't have MySQL. Okay, I don't have these two packages. I'm going to run this this playbook again. See here, first it will install PHP and then MySQL, then Perl. So now it's executing on host 2. It will install one by one, and then it goes to the second host 3. Okay, now go to host 3 and run the same commands again. Perl. Now you see all the now here, if you see here, it did not display any output, but here it displayed a lot of files. Okay, and MySQL, the second one, there is no display for MySQL. Then let's see. Okay, I think MySQL is not. How to confirm whether when it runs a command. Now I gave the MySQL, but it did not find the MySQL, right? So how to troubleshoot it? Let's do it by manual. So this is the manual way of installing. So it said no package with MySQL, but the alternate one is MariaDB. So MySQL was replaced by MariaDB. So that's the reason it said file not found. Okay. Now you saw it, right? How to install multiple packages on it. Suppose when you have let's in the web server, let's delete that index file. Where www html index. Okay, so now I removed the index file. Let's run the website. What it shows, host 3. Okay, so it is showing Apache's default page because I removed that file. Now I don't want to run all the task again. So when you go to the lesson 1, now I don't want to run all this task. Now I need only to I need to copy only file, right? So you can instead of running whole playbook, you can run only this particular task. So for that you can use the tag saying that so tag, what is the tag here? So how to use this tag module? Now go to the Ansible doc and give the tag. Oh, it doesn't display here. Okay, go to the Ansible tag. See here tags. I think I gave the wrong command. Go to tags. How to use the tags? You can see it here. Okay. this is the way we can give the tags. That means tags, I say content. So I define this particular task saying that tagging it as a content. So I don't want to run all the tasks. I want to only copy the content from the content to the target host, and I don't want to run the other task. So go to the end of this file and give -t. That means tags. What is the tags name? That is content. So it will skip all the other tasks and it will execute only one task. Okay, if you see here, so it did not do the other installation task. It only ran on the copy website content. Now use the same command, elinks. See here, it copied the file. Earlier it showed you the Apache content, right? Now it is showing your website. So this is the way to write the script. So any questions from this session? Yeah, any questions, let me know.
Shankar, this is Vishnu. Actually, yesterday and day before yesterday, I was installing this, having this server to. I install Red Hat in my system so that I can link this, project this one to that, like client thing to each other. But actually, it was not going through. It was showing the error, like, warning the post provider is empty.
Okay, show me your machine. I can configure right away so that everyone can see.
Just
share your machine. I'm just giving you the Vishnu, right?
Yes, Vishnu. Yeah. Okay, now see my display.
No, I'm just sharing you.
Okay.
No, you are presenter. Okay.
I'll show you a screenshot.
Okay. No, just give me the control. Let me see. Okay. What is your machine here? 135. It's pinging from this. 1 second. I'm checking whether these two are able to communicate or not. 192, 168, 109, and 132.
Yes.
Okay. So let's make it in this way, because we don't have a DNS server, so you can make it in this 192.168.109. What is this, 135, right?
Yeah, 135.
Let's make it as a host 1. Okay. And 192.168.109. What is that? 132. Okay, as host 2.
Okay.
Copy this same content. Go to the other machine. Same etc host.
Okay.
Okay. Now the first one is 135 is host 1 and this is host 2.
Okay.
I'm ping host 1. You see now?
Yeah.
Pinging. Okay, and you can change the name here. Systemctl set host name, okay, as host 2.
Okay.
Sorry. Host name
CTL.
CTL, set host name host 2. So this will set the host name of this machine,
Okay.
and go to one. Host name CTL,
Mm-hmm.
set host name
Host 1.
set host name host 1. Okay. Suppose you want to do the passwordless authentication from 135 machine, host 1 to host 2.
Uh-huh.
Then you have to generate the key first. SSH space hyphen key gen is the. Please note down these commands. It will be useful for you to configure your RSA.
Okay.
Just enter. This will generate the file, and you need to copy this file to the remote machine. This is passwordless authentication. Now, if you run this SSH, let's check this one.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the host 2? Okay.
Okay.
What is the password?
It's creative23 star.
Yeah, just give the password.
Oh, sorry.
It's better to keep Red Hat as the password for your classroom sessions,
Okay.
so it will be easy.
Mm.
Okay, let me 1 second.
It's not going to. Okay.
Okay.
Shankar, is this session is recording?
It's recording.
Okay.
Okay. Now just I give the Red Hat as the password. Now you logged into the host 2.
Okay.
Now you are in the host 1, but you logged into the host 2. Okay.
Okay.
Now see here. You are in the host 1, right? Now,
yeah.
When I logged into the host 2, it was asking password. So how to do the passwordless authentication?
Mm-hmm.
For that, you have to use SSH copy ID and use the hyphen I is the identity, and use the dot SSH ID RSA underscore dot. You have to copy this public file to the remote machine, that is root @ and what is that is the remote machine host 2, right? So you have to give this command. Okay, it will ask for the password for the first time. Okay.
Okay, shall I give it?
So now run the previous command again, that is root sh root @ host 2. So without password, it logged into this your remote machine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to configure Yum repositories on both machines,
No.
you configured it?
No. Only I and
Okay.
only in CentOS.
Okay. So you installed Ansible on this machine?
Yeah, Ansible on this machine, yes.
Okay. So you have to make sure that this is working properly, Yum on the both machines.
Okay.
And so there are no repos on this machine.
Mm-hmm.
So copy from here scp-r etc yum.repos. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And star, go to the host 2 etc yum.repos.d and enter. So this will copy all the files in the repos to the remote machine.
Okay.
And now run the same command again. Now it will populate the new copied repo file, and it will gather the data. It will create a temporary database from the internet with the available RPMs in the remote repository server.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to upload these sessions into YouTube. So I'm going the old sessions also I will share you the YouTube link, so you can go through the YouTube link, and it will be available all the time because I don't have much space on my Dropbox. For that reason, I'm uploading all those videos into the YouTube. Okay. So any questions?
No. Shankar, so once this is installed, we can access like one host from the other, and we can install the other package.
So yes. So the main thing is, like, suppose host 1 is your Ansible machine and host 2 is your target, host 3 is your target. Then you should make sure to configure SSH passwordless authentication from this host 1 to host 2 and host 3.
Oh, okay, Shankar.
I'll show you one. It's better, like.
And Shankar, for the host 2 and host, it can be the CentOS the same OS, or is that gonna make any problem?
No, it can be any it can be any file. Sorry, it can be any OS. Give me a minute. Let me show how it works.
Okay. So right now on my machine I have.
Are you able to see my machine? No, right?
No.
Okay, one moment. I don't know how to take back this one.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, I got it. One second. You able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is your the laptop, the machine which I configured right now is my host 1, and the other host is it written as a web server because it in production you make it as a web server, but it is host 2. So you should, when you access from laptop to web server, so it should go without requesting for password. So for that, the given process you have to follow it. And suppose if you have multiple servers, this is your laptop is your host 1, and the others are host 2, host 3, and host 4. And you should make sure that you should be able to log into all the green color hosts without password. So for that you have to use the same previous commands which I showed you the process right now. So for that you have to use the SSD copy command to copy your public key into all the machines. And after copying that machines to all the green machines, so you can log into the client machines without password. And for the inventory, in my current example, I I did not give the IP address. Instead of that, I gave you host 2 and host 3. So here you can give a number of IP address or host name here. See here it mentioned all these IPs in this inventory, or you can group them as these three as web servers, these two as DB servers, these as your backup server. So it's up to you how to configure them. Okay. Any more questions?
So I have the CentOS on the laptop desktop server, and on the other servers I can also have the same OS or the other OS. It's not gonna make problem, right?
For training purpose, so I suggested to go with the CentOS Red Hat servers,
Okay.
Red Hat OS. But see, Ansible is not only limited to Red Hat. So you can also install the same packages. Suppose now I said to install web server on the remote machine. Suppose your remote machine is Windows server, or if it is, let's take the same flavors like SUSE Linux. For SUSE, Debian, Ubuntu, the process of installing the package is different from the Red Hat.
Okay,
So,
gotcha. So Red Hat
how
and
it will,
CentOS are the same.
yeah, Red Hat and CentOS is the same. That's the reason I told you to select it.
Okay.
But so there, instead of Yum, it uses the APT module. So how to switch between these flavors, we will see in the other class.
Okay.
So when the remote machine is SUSE Linux, how it gets installed. So first it will check what is the OS, and according to the OS, it will check the install the package based on its available OS.
Okay. Thank you, Shankar.
Yep. So I will share you the URL of this trainings, today's class and last 3 classes after some time.
Okay, and we'll try to make 2